I'll try and keep it fairly orderly. Anybody have a question for Katie? Anybody with a question? Somebody must have, surely.
How do you fund yourself? How do you fund what you do, Katie?
Well, I was funded to start with through British Triathlon, but I've had to take myself off funding because I didn't want to be based where they allocate basically funding in Loughborough. So I've had to find personal sponsors now. So I've got very, very lucky. I'm lucky that I've got a really great sponsor, Barry Wells, who started out with the Triathlon programme that I was part of to get me into the sport, and he's stuck with me for the past 3 years. So he looks after me. And yeah, I've just kind of got to send a few emails out, and obviously with results you get more and more sponsors helping that way as well. Yeah, it's quite tough. My husband's pocket helps out as well. Yeah.
What's your current training regime?
So I kind of had to take a bit of a step backwards. When I first started triathlon, I went from a running programme of around 8 hours into full-time triathlon of around 25-30 hours, and the step up was just, it doesn't take a scientist to work out that jump was massive.
Is that a month?
Yeah, I wish. No, it was a week, sadly. So yeah, I got a lot of injury problems, and I didn't really progress kind of through the ranks like these juniors will do. They'll build up their hours nice and gradually. So I took a back step at the start of this year, and I started out around 15 hours a week. And I've just started again now to go full time, so I'm up to 20 hours. Next year, when we move into New Year, I'll be going up to 25 hours again. But it's been consistent, and I've had no injury problems this way, and it's been a lot better, as my results have shown. So yeah, it's good.
Amy?
What's your favourite sport
Out of the three? I would say running, because that was my background. I used to run before I did any of the other sports, but I actually really like cycling as well now, when it's not too cold.
You say you're not based at Loughborough now. Where are you based now?
Yeah, so now I'm based down near Aldershot. I basically got married this year, so I decided to go and live with my husband, who's in the army, and I set up my own training programme there. I joined a swim club, pretty good, decent standard. I've sourced my own bike coach, and I've got a separate run coach, and things worked really, really well, and I kind of had a bit of flexibility to train as I wanted to. But now I'm at the point where I need to step up another level, and I want to break into World Champs Series next year and looking at Commonwealth Games. So the difficulty of having 3 different people and trying to juggle them all every day myself, it's just become a little bit too time consuming. So I've now made the decision to join Darren Smith's elite training squad, who Jodie Stimpson's been working with for the past few months. So I'll be joining those guys out in Australia in January for 3 months, and yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. It's another big change, but I've kind of got this one opportunity, and I think I'm going to just go for it, really. Yeah.
How do you balance your nutrition with your training and your increasing hours?
Yeah, so the nutrition actually was a real kind of, I'd say, one of the key factors that really added to my injury problems, because coming from a running programme, you always have to watch what you eat as a runner. It's very, about being as lean as you can, and trying to change sports into one where you need to get the calories in was quite difficult for me to initially get my head around. So I actually ended up losing quite a bit of weight at the start of the programme from the fact I was just doing so much training. I wasn't trying to lose weight. So we obviously have to work quite closely with the nutrition and finding ways to get hidden calories into my diet. So when you're training 3 times a day, it's just, back in other sessions, you can't then eat a big meal straight after if you're out on the bike 2 hours later. So just things like I'm having snacks whilst I'm riding, I'm getting up earlier if I've got a swim session in the morning to get a good breakfast in. I'm taking food with me to sessions, so straight afterwards the recovery is so key, and I found that I think my protein content was something like a third of what I should have been having. So all these little things really did add to kind of having a lot of injury problems and being constantly fatigued, and yeah, we've got on top of that now, and it's just making sure you're really organised with it.
Have you found that chocolate has really advanced?
Chocolate's the best thing for it. Yeah, chocolate, sweets and cake. Yeah.
Go on, Matt.
What's your 5K personal best time?
Well, actually, my 5K time improved after training for triathlon. So obviously I was a runner previously and went to the sport 4 months into the programme, I went and did a 5k off hardly any running training and a swim bike programme, and I took 30 seconds off my 5k PB and did a 15:54. So, yeah, it just shows the triathlon can really make big improvements. What's yours?
Not that quick.
Seconds, Matt, seconds.
We'll have a race.
No, sir?
Day before race. So I try to have foods that have got, quite high carbohydrates, so I've got enough energy. But I try not to change my diet too much, because I think if you try and experiment with too many foods, your body needs to get used to certain types. So I keep my diet quite simple. I'll have a pasta meal at night time. In the morning I tend to have a normal breakfast of porridge, honey. One thing I do take out of my diet a few days before a race is anything with seeds, nuts, anything that's going to really kind of give me a stitch, or real high fibre based foods. I do have to cut those out before a race. But that's just a problem I've found. I get quite a lot of stitches, and again, the nutritionist has helped me with those things. So it's been really helpful.
I mean,
Where do you see your real big improvement? Is it the swimming or the biking or the running? Where do you think you can?
Well, for me, I'm always on catch up. So the swim is like my weakness, and it's no secret. I've got a lot of work to do with that, and that's one of the reasons I'm going out to work with Darren Smith, because I know he's very, very technical, and he's very good at the swimming, and has shown he can bring athletes who are basically no swimmers into full pack swimmers. So that's going to be the big thing for me, really getting to grips with it. If I can get on the packs in these World Champ Series, I know I've got the bike and the run to really perform. So we'll be working very, very hard. I'm being on probably a 30k plus swim programme this winter, double swimming. So I'm going to be constantly smelling of chlorine and all that fun stuff. But I think that another big factor for me is consistency, and it's the same with anyone. If you get consistent training, your results do come, and it's just knocking out each session week after week after